All right, now we got Timothy Roberts right here. Shout out to Timothy. Who do you think is the most underrated player on the Steelers and why?
Wow.
That's a good question, Timothy.
You brought up James Washington last week, right?
I did, man.
If we're talking most underrated here. Wow, dude. I wanna initially say Terrell Edmonds here, but I got to think a little bit. Do you have someone in mind?
For me, yeah, I'm going with Chuks Okorafor, right tackle. Obviously, a couple of reasons. Number one, this was his first elongated starting experience, and I feel like he's done a really good job, especially in pass protection, which is most important when you're talking about Ben Roethlisberger. Number two, though, mentally, man, you got to think this guy got beat out last year for the open competition by Matt Fowler. Then this year he got beat out again by Zach Banner. So it's like, man, mentally that could be a lot for you. I mean, especially when you think of his draft pedigree and stuff like that. And he doesn't have a lot of football experience. I think he started playing, I think he said at 13. So for me to see him not only physically continue to develop, but mentally show that fortitude where he's been able to come in since Zach went down and hasn't missed a beat. I mean, he's been looking really good from a pass protection standpoint. Even in the run game, he's done some good things. Now, obviously, the O-line as a whole has to continue to improve in that element. But when it pertains to the pass, man, he's been great. And you think about the guys that he's had to block against, man. We talked about, man, JJ Watt, they featured him. That was like we're going to circle you and we're going to make you stand up. And he did it for 4 quarters, and he's been doing that for 4 quarters this season. So to me, he's the underrated guy that, I mean, he's not going to get talked about on offense when you think about Pouncey, when you think about DeCastro, Al, you think about these receivers, Ben, James. I mean, we talk about everybody else but him, and he's at a premier position protecting Ben.
I rethought my answer. I think it's got to be 7. I'm just joking, dude.
It would have surprised me.
I'm just joking. I'm going to stick with Edmonds, dude. I am. I just think, dude, outside of maybe the first game or two, I know there was maybe one or two plays that they completed a pass on him, and you know, people on social media were saying he got burnt and stuff.
This is my thing that gets me right.
But here's my point. Ever since then, the clutch sack against the Broncos, I've seen multiple times pass deflections, and I remember the Titans game, he had 2. The one should have been a pick, yes, and then he had the 2 picks this game. I've just seen really good plays ever since like the first week or two from Terrell Edmonds up to this point.
But this is my thing. People say the first week or two. You get in the pass court in zone coverage. That's not on the. That's not on the same. No, that's the part that drives me nuts.
And I remember us talking about that too, because
and you can show it numerous times on tape where it's literally that's a zone coverage. There are natural
they're
holes,
funneling it to him,
right? And people make it like, well, because he was the nearest man while the ball was caught, he sucks. Put it on him, and we came up here multiple times. Not only did we do a film session, but we talked about it like, man, just because a guy catches it and he's in the vicinity, it's not on him. So I don't even that's what for why I had cut you off, because like just hearing you say, man, these first 2 games might have been that good. I'm like, to who? He was playing well. He's been playing well all season, to me, man.
Well, I do remember us talking about that actually. Absolutely, because you brought it up to me. You were like, oh man, what was your take on Terrell Edmonds' game? It was the Giants game. And I was like, I thought he played good. I mean, there was 1 or 2 plays like he was around. It was like a big catch for maybe like 15, 20 yards or something. But then we talked about it's like, I think at that point in the game, we were dropping back a little bit. But like I said, dude, the sack against the Broncos, how many times has he been in there for like run protection too? Like getting dudes behind the line of scrimmage.
Always been good, man.
Yeah, and then I've seen how many times some of these pass deflections, you see like 1 or 2 a game, you're like, damn, dude, that was an awesome play. Everyone rips on him for his coverage. And then he had the 2 picks this game. So I'm going to go with Terrell Edmonds, man.
I like that, man, because he's been balling out.
I like your pick, too. Your pick's pretty good, too.
Nah, man, he's been balling out, man. That's my thing. With Edmonds, like, I linked towards him, but my mindset was, I don't want to be the guy that, all right, because now he has 2 picks, now we're going to come up here and praise him. Right. Even though we were, but no, not because we've already been doing it. That's what I'm saying. We've already been praising him, but that was my whole thought process. I'm like, now it's like, oh, kind of like the national media, right? You ain't want to talk about it the first 3 weeks. Don't talk about him now. You ain't want to talk about him after the first couple of games. Don't talk about him now. They getting 2 picks and all this other stuff. See, I was getting my.
That's why I felt
my decor, man.
Well, that's why I felt good about saying Terrell Edmonds equals Pro Bowl. That was my take out there. I felt good about it because we've been on it this whole time. We've been on it,
no doubt.
Like I feel like it'd be different if all of a sudden James Conner has like a 200-yard game next week, and then I'm puffing my chest. James Conner Pro Bowl. I was talking about bringing in Le'Veon Bell and maybe giving McFarland more snaps. That definitely wouldn't be a good look.
This segment was brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sports booking app. And we know sports booking isn't allowed everywhere. We know this. But we do know fantasy football is, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people love fantasy football. And a lot of people love the opportunity to make some money. So what if I told you that DraftKings has combined with fantasy football and they have a fantasy football app where they're giving out $1 million worth of prizes every week? I mean, that sounds pretty good, right?
Sounds amazing.
I agree. And you know me, I was in retirement. You were in retirement. We weren't even fantasy football guys. When they broke out this deal, along with the promo code Moats, giving us up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money, we both came out of retirement. We said, look, take our jerseys out the rafters. We're coming back, man. We are coming back. So what are you waiting on, man? Make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app or download DraftKings Fantasy Football app. Use the promo code Moats and go out there and get that opportunity to make a little money.